Hey, how are you today? This is Enhancing Human Experience, episode 142. I'm Mark Phillips. No guest today, just me. I'm going to be sharing some of my favorite tools with you, specifically the tools that you get when you sign up to my email list. I call them tools for conscious creators. They're like a little collection of thought tools and emotional tools, mainly thought tools, because that is the starting point of everything that cascades. You know, thoughts lead to feelings, feelings lead to actions, actions lead to results. I guess thoughts and beliefs are kind of, assumed to be similar things, even though beliefs trump thoughts. They come prior to that, but they're thought tools that help you fix your thinking so that you can create the experiences you want in life, right? We know that we're creators. We're creating our own reality. We're creating our experiences. And that's why I'm super excited about these thought tools, these tools for conscious creators. They've been available to people who sign up to my email list at gmarkphillips.com for maybe a couple of months now. And I have a bunch more to add. I've already added a bunch of cool ones. I've got the list pulled up right here. We're going to go through and talk about them. And I'm also going to share some other new developments that will be happening in the future with you. Some new courses. I'm doing courses. I'm venturing into the course arena. I did prior, and it didn't go so well. I was on a platform that shall not be named, but I'm not going to do that platform anymore. I'm going to put it on my website. I'm really super excited to share that with you. The infrastructure and there is courses available to purchase there currently, but I'll be building it out more. I've got some work to do to put that together, but I'm excited to share that with you. But in this video, like I said, I want to talk about these tools. And by the way, if my chair squeaks, I apologize for that. It's been a somewhat stressful day as I was backing out of some stuff online and redoing some stuff, and those things where you hurt your head. It gets a little bit too technical, and you're kind of like, what in the world am I doing this for, right? So I had one of those kind of days, but I'm through it now. I went and had myself a delicious, refreshing Topo Chico mineral water, carbonated sparkling mineral water. Super delicious, super good. It's the little special niceties that we give ourselves at the end of a stressful, challenging day that make all the difference. Am I right? So I'm back, going to put this podcast together here, and then we'll get it up and get it out there. Like I said, this is episode 142. It's just me today. In the future, I will invite some new guests on. As you know, we're just doing the podcast once a month for a while now, as I put more of my time and efforts and energy into video content. Have you checked out the YouTube page, youtube.com/gmarkphillips? If so, what do you think? Am I on the right track? Am I producing entertaining and valuable content for you? I hope I am. I've told the story about video a lot in the past, how I was really afraid of freaking video. I was scared of video. I didn't want to be on video. I didn't want to have anything to do with it. That's why I started the podcast in the first place, in addition to the fact that I love talking with people and interviewing them. But video really, really frightened me. But I got to say, I'm having a lot of fun producing and creating videos. It's just so much. The medium is so creative. It allows me to be a lot more creative than does just the podcast, right? But the podcast here will always be, my heart will always be in it because it's super important to me. I love the nature of it. I love having guests on, but video is where I'm putting most of my attention. That's why I've, scaled back the podcast to just every month. So, all right, let's talk about these tools. So if you have already subscribed to my email list and you're listening, don't worry, because you'll have access to these tools. The same link that you've always had will take you to these tools. So if you didn't get them, you can always go find them. And that's why I put a link in the email, the welcome email, so that people can go and download newly updated tools, right? Because sometimes I revise these. That's why every tool has a V1 or a V2 or maybe V1.5. I don't think I'm going to get into the point system, but V1, V2, some of them have V2 already, when they change, and then I'll notify you in my weekly email, minimum weekly email that I send out. Again, you are on that list if you ever signed up to receive any of the free downloads. It's been a number of things in the past. Currently, it's tools for conscious creators. I pulled Renew Morning Ritual off of that free download because I'm going to be turning into that into a premium course. I'm really excited. I want to go over to Sun Valley, Idaho, and stay in the Sun Valley Lodge over the weekend and film Renew Morning Ritual. It'll be somewhat of a micro course, but it'll be that process that I go through when I'm on my game to tune in, to all of the things that I want, who I am, what I want, how I want it to be, all these things. Every morning, I find it to be a really powerful morning ritual. Bring back online the mind, body, and spirit, that kind of a thing. So look for that to be coming down the line really soon. Well, somewhat soon. And again, you'll find that in my new course platform, gmarkphillips.com/courses. You'll find that there along with a couple of the other courses that are already there. Plus, I got to say, I'm excited to share one of my favorite new courses with you, and it's called the Focus and Flow Journaling Process. I am thrilled to share this. Now, I realize there are so many journal courses, journal books out there on the market, not necessarily courses per se. Some are courses. We're talking about the 5-Minute Journal, the Freedom Journal, John Lee Dumas, Entrepreneur on Fire. I think there's a productivity journal. There's just a focus journal. But this Focus and Flow journaling process, I'm going to say it's the most comprehensive, simplest, funnest process of them all. And I have no problem saying that because I've been using it for the last couple of months and refining it. And honestly, I've never been a big journaler. I go in and out because it gets boring to me. I don't know if you're like this too, but journaling gets boring to me. But the way that this Focus and Flow journaling process is set up, it is not boring at all. And the time just flies by, the main reason that I like it is it shifts your consciousness. It puts you in the experience of being, doing, and having the experiences that you want. That's why I like it. And I've also tried morning pages from, is it Cameron, the gal's name that wrote that book, is it The Artist Way? Yeah, The Artist's Way. I believe it is. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Julia Cameron, I think is her name. I've tried morning pages, and honestly, while I think there's benefit there, and while I think they do something to clear out our pipeline, our thought processes, and give us a vehicle and clean out that channel from the other side, it doesn't seem right to me to write stream of consciousness for 3 pages and be at the mercy of the mind. Something about that doesn't fit for me, because I don't want my mind to run me, right? I want to run my mind. Maybe you're like that as well. I want my mind to be the tool that I use. I'm not a tool for my mind. And I always felt like that with morning pages. So that's one of the things. And I've got a video that I'm going to be sharing with you, contrasting morning pages with the Focus and Flow journaling process. And really, in my mind, they're polar opposites from one another. And that's why I think it resonates so much with me, this Focus and Flow process. So that's going to be a course coming soon, and I think you're really going to love it. I'm excited to share that with you. So let's jump into these tools before we get too far down the road here. Talk about the tools for conscious creators, again, that you can get when you sign up to my email list at gmarkphillips.com. And what these are, like I said, they're tools to help you tune in, fix your thinking and your emotions so you can do what it takes to create the lifestyle and business that you want. Among these tools are some you already are aware of. I have Being is Your Superpower. That's the book of little ideas and links to people who have already discovered the power of being, changed who they are, changed what they are and their self-concept so that they can get what they want, right? Because what we are comes to us, and we can't do something that is not in alignment with who we are. We can't do something if we're not that something, right? If we don't see ourselves that way. Where this gets really exciting is where you tune yourself up and claim qualities, characteristics, and attributes that you want to have and you want to use when you approach something, a task or an endeavor, you do that task in a radically different way. And I've blown myself away so many times in the past, like, who is this guy, right? What the hell? But when you do this, it really does change you, right? Thoughts are things. I've said this a number of times before, and I'll say it again. We are an idea. We are consciousness expressed in physical form. And honestly, you can choose to be whatever idea you want to be. And when I say being is your superpower, that is a freaking superpower. Because who are you? What are you, right? What idea do you want to embody right now, next week, overall? I mean, you get to choose. The thing that hangs people up, myself included, I'm as guilty of this as anyone. The thing that hangs people up is, oh, well, I've been this way in the past. I'm this way, I'm that way, I'm this way. That's bull. It really is bull, because then it anchors you to it anchors you to your past, and it creates barriers to what the life that you could have, right? Do you see what I'm saying? When you stay in the past of who you were, and you never take a conscious moment and say, look, who do I want to be? How can I put myself in alignment with the experiences I want, right? How can I change? Well, you change by changing your self-concept first, your self-image. And that's why I really love that phrase in that book. That book has links to all sorts of successful people who have used the power of being to get more of what they want, put themselves in alignment with health, wealth, and success, abundance, prosperity, fun, freedom. Whatever you want, you can get it by being that. That's in there. The Artist's Life by Stephen Pressfield is in there. It's a PDF. These are all PDFs. So The Artist's Life, if you're familiar with that, that's the one-page, very short essay that is in the back of The War of Art. And that's a super awesome book. And this Artist's Life is all about being a creator and making sure that you know if you don't create what you came here to create, you not only let yourself down, you let everyone down. Angels, God, even Stephen Pressfield. You let Stephen Pressfield down, right? Everyone down if you don't do your thing and enter that cave that you fear to enter. So that's The Artist's Life is in there, one-page PDF that I've typed up and included there for you. If you have the Art of War, you already have this in the back, and I would encourage you to go read it and check it out. It's super good. The next tool in there is called the Deathbed Tool. Now, this may sound kind of morbid, but I don't think it is. Death is my best friend and my super ally, because anytime that I think I don't want to do something or I'm afraid to express what wants to come through me, I think about death. And you know what? It makes me do it, because this body will be a corpse. This is a yogi famous phrase, right? We're all short on time for this earth, right? This is not going to last forever. And because of that, we got to do the thing when we have the opportunity to do it, because we may not get another opportunity. Just the other day, I was looking at Ryan Holiday's website and his store. I think it's called the Daily Stoic, if I'm not mistaken. It's where he sells his products and whatnot. And he has this super awesome coin in there, and it has Latin on it and has a picture of a skull. And on the back, it says something to the effect of, you know, there's this, tomorrow's not, you could leave this world right now. I think that's what it says. You could leave this world right now. And on the front, it has Latin and it says memento mori. And I think that stands for, remember, you're going to die, you know, something to that effect. But he carries that in his pocket all the time. That's a great reminder to stay focused. And I'll tell you, it makes you be really conscious of whether you are on the track or off the track, or what helps you decide what you want to do with your time in the world, what's important, what's not important. So that's the Deathbed Tool. That's in there. Also, along those same lines, not to stay morbid, but it is effective, the Gun to the Head Tool. If someone had a gun to your head, or again, heaven forbid, someone you love's head, and it was like do or die time, would you do the thing? That's a very effective way to get stuff done. And again, Stephen Pressfield talks about this when he refers to the resistance. The resistance we face in our lifetime is holding us back and keeping us from being creators that we came to create. And so resistance does put a gun in your face, right? And it does try to hold you up and keep you suppressed, right? Suppress the creativity that wants to come through you. So I'm not the first one that's talked about this, right? Resistance is real, and it is a quote unquote bitch. It will knock you down and keep you stuck forever if you do not stand up to it and take over, right? So gun to the head is a very real thing. Next one in there is the Human Being's Manifesto. That is the one-page inspirational, motivational, I might say, document that is part of the Being series, right? Just be it the secret to having what you want in life. But that's just kind of a daily reminder that, again, reminding you that you get to choose who you're going to be. And when you choose, everything else cascades from that. So that's in there. Black or white version. I prefer the black version myself. You can see it on the set if you've watched any of my videos. I have it back there. I like that one a little bit better than the white version, but you choose whichever one you want. Couple more that are in here now, and then I'll talk about some that are coming down the line. The I Am tool. This is a version 2 because I've already revised it. Now, honestly, I'm thinking of calling this, changing the name to the Power of Being, discovering the Power of Being, because I think it's more appropriate and more in alignment with some of the other things. But essentially, the I Am tool is talking about, the power of being, and what you are comes to you, right? You're going to attract the things that you are. And so when you claim to be it, and continually talk to yourself in that way and push that into your consciousness, you will develop those qualities in yourself, and you will become that person. Again, back to the idea, back to this notion that we're an idea, we're a collection of ideas, and we get to choose what ideas we're going to be. So that's the I Am tool, super, super powerful foundation of everything in life, being, right? Be, do, have. The Polarity Tool is another fun tool that I use all the time, and it gets me going. Actually, I did a video recently. You can find it on my YouTube channel where I talk about the Polarity Tool and draw the diagram and share the concept behind it. But essentially, the Polarity Tool is making a list of everything you don't want, everything you do want, right? On two sides of the paper, what you don't want and what you do want. And you in the middle, you could draw a little stick figure, and you're floating in the middle of these two columns of lists of things that you don't want, experiences, circumstances, negative events, of course, on the don't want side, positive events on the do want side. Go really big. And this is what I talked about in the video. Go to the extremes. Like, what's the absolute best that could happen, or the best experience that you want in life, even if it seems very outlandish, right? Go far to the extremes. And incidentally, don't show these to people, right? You don't need to share these tools with other people unless you want to. I don't share any personal development stuff that I'm doing on the inside. One, because it's weird and it is out there, and I'm going in strange places and I don't want people to see that, right? And it's tools for you to use. So if you choose to show people, that's fine. But just know that not everyone is going to be as open and receptive to I kind of look at it as you're sharing the behind the scenes, like you're sharing your workshop. And I don't let anyone in my workshop. I may let them in the foyer, and I may kind of give them a little, tell them what's in the workshop, but I don't let anyone in my creative workshop, meaning my imagination and my mind, because that's where, for me and my inner being, higher self, God, source, whatever, that's the workshop we work in, right? It's lockdown. It's like fingerprint, eye scan, biometrics. No one gets in there. So just think about that. A lot of metaphysicians, spiritual gurus have taken that stance before. I know that in the world right now, people are very open to sharing their goals and dreams. And you know what? There's some validity to that. And I that works for them. That doesn't work for me. I don't tell anyone what I'm creating until I've actually created it. And then I just let it speak for itself. If it's something people resonate with, fine. If it's something they don't, fine. But again, back to this workshop and back to these tools and some of these, when you're writing down these lists of things to help move you into action or give you clarity or just understand yourself better, think about not sharing this with other people, because no one is going to understand your journey like you, and no one is going to really get you, right? And so when you share, the reason that I don't share, I might as well just tell you this, just so you can get my logic behind this, but the reason that I don't share is because it comes back to the resistance again. There's resistance in the world. There's resistance to ideas, right? Try to put an idea into the world. You're going to get a bunch of people that say, you know what, it won't work, and here's the reasons why. The timing's not right. something this, something that, you're going to get a million reasons why. What does that do? That cuts your idea down. That's like showing your idea baby to the world and people saying you have an ugly idea baby, right? No one wants that. So just keep your baby covered up until it's more grown and it can kind of hold its own with these people that are, because everyone's going to give you an opinion. And again, it's not a negative or a positive thing. It's just people are resistant to new ideas or things coming into the world. It takes energy and power to push things into the world, and your new self or your new invention or your new business or your new whatever can meet with resistance. And I just choose not to fight that battle. I don't want to waste energy trying to convince people of the validity of my idea or sharing it, even sharing it. I mean, you're using energy to share your idea with someone who may or may not be receptive. So that's the reason why, is I don't want to put my energy there. Believe me, I got plenty of places to put my energy than sharing an idea that isn't fully formed with people. So that's why I do it, just so you can get kind of the backstory. But the Polarity Tool, so very powerful, in my opinion, to move you into action. The idea behind that is based on the bullet trains, magnetic levitation trains. I mean, they move because there's no friction. What happens, what the concept is with the Polarity Tool, is that your list of what you don't want is going to push you, and your list of what you do want is going to pull you. And that's why I say if you make those lists very extreme, really, really bad situations that'll happen if you don't do what you want, what you're inspired to do, or create and build and add value and be of service and all the things that allow money to flow to you, right? To us. Make it really, really bad. If you don't do those things, what's going to happen? And if you do those things, what's going to happen? And you see, because you've amplified the negative and positive polarity, you will be moved, right? It will get you up off the couch. It'll get you up out of bed. It'll get you up from a deep, dark depression and make you get into action, because you know that only through moving and activity, focused activity, will you achieve your goals, right? Will you create the energy around yourself to attract those experiences, right? So that's the Polarity Tool. I find it to be very powerful. Now, let me share with you some new tools that are going to be coming online very soon into this collection. One of them is the Rainmaker. I've talked about the Rainmaker before on one of the episodes of the podcast. I want to say in the 40s, episode 40-ish, but I'll put a link in the description below this video if I think about, or this episode if I think about it. But definitely stay tuned on my YouTube channel for the Rainmaker, because always the Rainmaker is so valuable to keep in mind. This is the story of Carl Jung. The Rainmaker put himself in alignment with rain over the course of a number of days, just worked in the inner world, aligning himself, not doing outer activity, but inner work, right? This is where I think our hardest work is. It's easy to do activity. It's easier to do activity in the world. It's harder to do activity in our mind and our consciousness, and visualize and focus and journal about our experiences that we want and live in the end, like Neville Goddard talked about. It's the hardest work in the world. Earl Nightingale confirmed it. He's talked about it in The Strangest Secret, that thinking is the hardest thing in the world. And you know what? I could not agree more. It's very challenging, but it's the most important. And you probably experienced this in your own life. But the Rainmaker tool is coming in there, but I'm going to update it, right? It's been almost 2 years since I talked about the Rainmaker and shared my favorite version of the Rainmaker from a book called Do Less, Achieve More, which is super phenomenal. I know that title sounds counterintuitive, but it's the Rainmaker story that she tells, and I would tell you her name, but it's Chinese and I know I'd get it wrong. The Rainmaker story she tells is really good. So that one's coming. I've got a number of other tools, some super fun tools that are kind of too early stage to talk about, but I think about these tools all the time, and essentially what my idea here is, and this is what I do with these tools, I keep them and I use them when I need them. You're not going to need every one of these tools every day, right? But it's like a tool chest you have in your garage or in your house, right? A toolbox. When you need them, it's nice to have that tool. And each tool works in a little bit different way to help you fix your thinking. And once you get your thinking fixed, then everything else is fixed. Louise Hay said it best. She never tries to fix things in the outer world. She fixes her thinking, and those things fix themselves. That's the idea behind these tools. So that's why I'm really excited about them. All right. That's the episode. I just wanted to talk about some of these tools and share these ideas with you. I hope that you maybe found something beneficial. I hope that you'll go check them out. Again, if you get the tools and you absolutely hate them, just unsubscribe from my email list. That's no problem. And hopefully one of these tools will resonate with you, even if none of the others do. But I put a lot of thought into these, and I don't want to inundate you or make a bunch of stuff that will just clutter your life. I really think long and hard about that. But again, there are some tools in our tool chest, our toolbox, that we don't use, but very infrequently. But when we need that tool, it's really helpful to have it there. If I could choose one tool here that is probably, and I've said this before, one tool to rule them all, it would be that I am tool. Because again, that's where the foundation starts. You're an idea, you're a collection of ideas, and when you change what you are, you change what you do, you change what you have, everything starts from there. So if you wanted one tool to rule them all, Lord of the Rings style, that would be it, the I am tool. That's the one that I'm thinking about changing the name to, making it more of an essay style, short essay style, with some specific how-tos in there about discovering the power of being, because that just sums it up right there. It's very powerful. Being is very powerful. So that's the episode. I want to thank you for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Remember, if you haven't subscribed on your favorite podcast platform, you can do that. I don't know where you're listening to this podcast at. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, course, what's some of the new ones? I think it's on Pandora now, and definitely iHeart. So take a minute, put this podcast into your collection or your subscription so that you can have access to new episodes coming down the road again. And I want to thank you for listening. I appreciate it. I hope all's well. And until next time, all the best, health, wealth, and success. Bye-bye.